Hello guys, this is Paula, and I'm here today to show you the next book that I've got started. Now, I'm not really in it that far, so I don't guess it. I guess we're started on it. It's brown, and you're probably thinking like I did, yuck. But we're going to spice it up with this orange and yellow and black. Almost, it's kind of a brownish black. Almost looks a little autumn, doesn't it? Well, it's not. It's not going to be autumn. I am going to decorate this front. I'm just going to lay down an example. It's not going to be, it's not necessarily going to be this. And there'll be more to it. So here's a window with beautiful flowers that have orange flowers and pink flowers. Okay. And then I have this small little window here that you can look out of and see a field of sunflowers. So that's just an example. We're not necessarily using this, okay? But this will be a 1.5 inch spine, which is right here. And so that's the book portion. Now, we're going to talk about the inside of the book. And I'm going to pull the paper out and show it to you. So basically, this theme is going to be about doors and windows. Windows and doors. So, I did not tea stain this paper before I printed it, so I'll be inking it so it looks nicer. I printed it on copy paper, so it had more of a crunchy sound. Here it is printed on, and this isn't the whole thing, but this is an example of one that's printed on cardstock. So you can see there's not a huge difference, right? Okay, but we're going to use the paper because I think it takes less bulk up in the book, and it has kind of a crunchy sound. I would ink it, but every time not ink it, but tea stain it, every time I have tea stained something that was already printed, it bleeds through. So, we're not going to do that, and I'm sure not going to reprint these because of all the brilliant colors. I had decided to do it in this color, this paper, like I do a lot of digital kits. This is a digital kit, and did I look up who it's from? No, I did not, but I'll see before we're through here if I can figure it out. If not, I will, I think I know who it is, but I'm not going to say it unless I know for sure. So I'll put it in the link, I promise. It will go in the link. I'm going to make myself a note right now. What happens is I say I'll put it in the link, and then my husband doesn't have that information to do it. So the digital kit will be in the link. I'm writing it right now. Etsy shop. Okay, so I have that written down. I'm going to solve the problem. It's hard to remember when you have 50 kits, and I think I have nearly, no, not 50, but really close, more than 25. It is very hard. Some of them don't put the name on the image, and it really makes it difficult for us who are trying to sell it for them or help sell it for them. I'm not trying to sell it for them. I'm just using it for my class, but I would help sell it for them if they would put their name on everything. And the problem is they don't. And not everyone is like that. There are several that do put the name on it, and we appreciate that. But it's hard whenever you have 10 kits laying around, and when you pick one up, it's like, who did this kit? You know, I don't think the smartest person around could just pop that up in their brain. Now, if you use that kit all the time, that would be one thing. Okay, so we're cutting the paper to 8 1/4 to 5 1/4. The book is 5 1/2, 8 1/2. Cutting the paper to 8 1/4 and 5 1/4. And that's what this is right here. I already did this for the first couple, but most of them I still have to cut. Okay, so this is going to be the front of the inside, or this is going to be the front of the inside. that was slow motion. I found the paper before I found the fabric. I had the paper because it looked so good with this. And I thought, Then I went to Joann's and I was shopping for different fabrics, trying to find something. I had this with me and this with me. And I thought, what can I find to match this and look like it goes? And that's how this came in. Yes, it doesn't have an enormous amount of pink. It has a pink, how do I put it? It's not a pure pink, but it feels like it has pink in it. And some of the darker places, but it does have yellow in it, and this is definitely yellow and orange. Okay, and peach. Okay, so this is going to be the first piece of paper. I'm going to flip these over and show you how it's going to be in the book. And then we've got this window. Isn't that beautiful? It's just different windows in this book indoors. And I love it. So this is going to be on one side. It's going to be like this. And so you'll see that this will go with these papers. None of these papers, I can't tell you the name on any paper because it's a mix. I just pulled papers out of my paper pads, and I had to buy some. I had to get with it. But here's this one. And you're probably thinking, why do you have it on orange? It's really more like a tangerine. But these are the two papers that will be in its area. So that's a really pretty one. Now here, look at this. Beautiful. I put it with this because there's pink in here, orange and green, and it's going to be beside this green also. So you wouldn't believe how hard it was to match up paper to go with the pictures. There's so many colors. So on this one, I see a lot of green, right? So we're doing it it'll be up against these two greens. I couldn't even find a lavender that worked. Not really. Okay. So that's why that ended up like that. On this side, we have a door and a window. Is that not pretty? I started to make this the front one, but there was more orange and pink in the book than blue. But these are going to be next to each other. So that looks pretty good, right? Okay. Now on this one, I love this little pink, red and white curtain. On this one, we're going to be back to this because it has all of those colors, right? The only thing that's not in there is a true yellow, but you can see yellow in that. And then over here on the other side will be kind of a blue. It just had to be that way. What can I say? You can only do so much to get them to match. This one has birds in the window, which I wish every one of them did. So we've got this green here with the leaves, because you mostly see leaves out this window. And there's a little bit of pink down here. And so we're going to do this leaf background with a little bit of peach and pink. And it will be butted up against this other one over here. I don't know if you guys can even see when I'm doing that. I'm sorry. With this one. I didn't realize I needed to bring it over. I'll look, and if the video's not good, I'll redo it. Okay, so here, I love this one with this background and this background. They're going to be up against each other, and I just thought it was super cool. This looks like back here either a bench, but it really looks like a bed with 2 nightstands and photo frames. They've got a bed, even a place for the pillows here, and even for the skirt. That's awesome. Whoever did that was very creative. Okay, now on this one, it goes like this, and this house is just covered. You can see the windows here, but it's peach, yellow, green, pink. So you got a little bit of everything. See the yellow here. So we're going to use this cardstock. That's old. It came from an old kit from Hobby Lobby. You know, it basically was these colors. So you would see this on the front of the book. I don't remember the book name. I'm sorry. But we've got yellow and orange shutters. We've got a peach wall. We've got green shutters. You know, just everything that you see in this book. So that's going to be that one. Now, on this one here, I don't know if I'll get all these in here, but I'm going to pick my favorite and make sure they're in there. The coolest ones. So I'm back to this paper, and this is pink and peach and lavender flowers. And this, I think, is a wall more than it is anything, or a door. It's a close-up. Okay, and these are the 2 colors that will be side by side. Okay, now moving on, we've got this where someone's looking out the window at like what appears to be the ocean, and kind of a sunset that's in the evening. There's no sun, but you can see the clouds are in brown tones or orange tones. And that's going to be with the yellow and the green, because the water looks green. So this is how I come up with my colors, because I just look at the picture and make a decision, you know, what it's going to be up against. And so this one is going to be up against yellow. Which yellow, I don't know. I don't know if this one's going to be wide enough. It might. But, yeah. Now, this is what you will see on the back cover. But you got to remember, what did I do with it? Oh, here it is. You got to remember that our book has this same picture inside. Okay? This is cardstock on the inside of the book. I want it to be heavier. So you can imagine how this is going to look when you get to that last page. Here you are, you're flipping through the book, you know, doing whatever. You get back here and you're at the very end. You're going to have the other half of this picture, which is the front cover, inside cover. So at the end, this is what you'll see. I know I'm weird, but I do stuff like that. I like to make things coordinate and make sense. I have reasons for everything I do. Are they right reasons or correct reasons? I don't know. They're correct enough for me, right? Okay, so my blade has hardly been used and it's already acting snaggy. So I hope it will cooperate with all this. So we're going to cut this paper. And I've already got a big stack of paper here that I did yesterday. I had some downtime and I just started getting some. This is not that, there's not that many things here. I haven't put any tea stain paper in yet. So we'll be doing that as well. So I've already cut this to 8 1/4 by 5 1/4. Okay, now we got to get this paper down to that size. I want to always cut the 8 1/2 first. Always, from a 12 by 12, always cut your 8 1/2 first. Okay, now you're going to want to put your 12 by 12 up to 8 1/2, or 8 1/4, I'm sorry, 8 1/4 for the paper. And then you're going to cut straight across, and this is going to be a scrap. Hang on to it, we'll make pockets and so forth. Okay, now we have 8 1/2, or 8 1/4. If I say that again, I'm going to knock myself in the head. And we have 5 1/4 and 5 1/4 makes 11. So, because when it's folded, it's 5 1/4. Okay, hang on to your scraps. Don't throw anything away until it's safe. Okay, so now we can fold this in half, and we'll start the book. Now, my thing is, do we start it with this or this? Why is that longer? What did I do wrong? Oh, I know. I did 8 1/2 instead of, I did 11 instead of 10 1/2. I'm sorry. You should do 10 1/2. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off and make it 5 1/4 across, and get rid of these two. We don't need those. Okay, now that makes more sense. I'll get my act together in a minute. You know how it is. You got to get into the groove of how it's going to work. Okay, so I love both of these. Now, I want to show you what the inside of the book is going to look like. And so we can decide, this is what we've got to look good up against. Now, we can have this be the first page in the first signature, like this, or we can do it like this. I'm thinking we need the other one. Okay, it just looks too different up against it, and this is still similar. You know, it's not the exact same picture, but it's similar. Okay, so got that figured out. So we've got page 1 and 2. Now we're going to put all of our cardstock in here, and then we'll come back in and do our tea stained and all that later. Mostly we just want to get this looking good. So this is the next image. Now, mind you, I'm only going to put one regular cardstock between everything. That's my goal. But, you know, we may end up adding some along the way. Here is page 2 of the kit. Everything's fitting nicely. Now we got to cut this one to the right size. See if I can figure that out. So I'm going to cut it at 8 1/4. 8 1/4. This is scrap. Just leave it there. Then we're going to do, instead of 11, we're going to do 10 1/2. Okay, because that's 5 1/4, and plus 5 1/4 equals 10 1/2. Okay, now we're going to fold it. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. I would feel pretty bad if you didn't. I'm sorry if you've not seen anything. I just get on my table and don't think about whether or not I'm in camera sometimes. I forget, but you know how that is. I'm sure you guys didn't see when I pulled the paper to the side, but that wasn't critical. Look how pretty that is. Pretty, pretty. Okay, now this one goes inside here, which is, see the pink looks good with this, and then this will look good with this. Now there's a lot of ways to do this, and we'll just have to decide how it's going to work. Really, the second sheet is not going to matter whether it matches the sheet in front, because it's going to be in a different position at that point. Okay, so we've got to fold this in half, and then we'll see what we need to cut off. Can't remember how much I think it's this right. I think it's 8 1/4 tall or 8 1/2. Let me see. This is the size it comes with the kit. And this was very reasonable too. Okay, so this is it's almost 5 1/4. I mean, it's so close to 5 1/4. Now, I'm going to tell you that I've torn papers on my trimmer, these thinner papers, like copy paper, when it's just a tiny edge. So I'm going to bring it to the middle. If you bring it to the middle, you have less of a chance of tearing the paper when you first take off. You know how you hit a speed bump when you first take off? That's pretty much what I'm talking about. Okay, so let me see which direction I'm at. Okay, so now we want to make sure it's 8 1/4, and it is. So we're ready to go here. Let's get our book over here. Keep everything in the upright position. This side goes in first, and then we're going to bring over this peach, and we're going to cut it 8 1/4. We're going to turn the book and cut it 10 1/2, or turn the page and cut it 10 1/2. Then we're going to fold. Okay. You can do your stripes whatever direction you want. I just liked them like this because I don't know. I like them both ways. Okay, so now this goes over here inside this page. I'm putting all the pages together, and then I'll decide which one goes in which signature. They'll end up being in signatures back to back, okay? Now here is this paper. Again, this is a new one. We're going to fold it in half. Some of the cardstock I put in the book is going to be double-sided. Some of it will not. Because I had to go really digging for what I needed. Okay, so we need this to be 5 1/4. And again, it's going to just slightly be off. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that, see, it stopped right there. I hate it when it does that. Well, I just want to knock it in the head because it ruins your paper. And I mean, this takes a lot of ink, you know, so I can fix that. That's not much to worry about, but man, I'm just going to trim it just slightly shorter. It won't matter because you're going to have different papers in the book at different widths, and the length will be the same or shorter. I don't want anything rough on this pretty book when we're done. It's going to be really pretty, I think. I love the way it is. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay, so we're going to put this in here, and we're going to cut this floral again. All right. So I really don't have room for all this stuff. I feel like I'm getting crowded out here. Do you guys ever do that? I cleaned up a little bit, but man, there is dust in my room, you guys. I'm embarrassed to say that. But I'm more embarrassed to have to say something to my housekeeper because she's supposed to really be cleaning. And when I dug all my Christmas stuff out, there was dust all over it. And I'm like, okay, so she hasn't been doing these shelves, and she's not wiping down the top of boxes. So I'm going to have to say something to her. All right, so we want this to be 10 1/2. So that will happen on Friday. Oh, my word. I hate to have to tell her something every time she comes. She probably thinks I'm the pickiest person around. I am. My daughter has already told me that. Because she has a housekeeper that she uses that's much cheaper than my my housekeeper I have now is. So I've been wanting to get her information. And my daughter says, Mom, she's not as good as what you've got. And she says, she's perfect for what I need. I need someone to come every week because I have 2 kids and I work full time. And, you know, she says, you're just having someone every couple weeks because you and Daddy aren't pigs. I said, I get it, but I still want to know. I have to pay $120 for my house cleaning. And I live in a tiny little house. Well, it's not tiny. It's 1700 and almost 1800. 1790, I think, is what it is. But to me, that's small when you've lived in giant houses in your life. You know, big houses that... I want to make sure I got this in the upright position. There we go. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, this is going to be 5 1/4 again. Let's see if we can just put it in the middle. Cut it there. You need it. The faster you can do it, the better chance you have of not tearing your paper. Excuse me. I got to get a drink. Sorry about that. Okay. Now we've got to do 8 1/4, which it is 8 1/4. Okay, so now we're going to do the green paper. And we're going to cut it at 8 1/4. We're using it again because we needed it. We could cut it the opposite way. No, wait a minute. Like this. I'm sorry. I'm just croupy today. So 8 1/4. I'm so sorry. That is so rude. Let me get a drink. Sometimes you just can't help it, right? All right, so 10 1/2 inches. I keep saying it and repeating it so that I don't forget myself. Because if I just sit here and do it silently, now I turned the stripes a different direction this time to make it look different. Let's see here. Now we put this in here and this in here. Now next we're going to do this beautiful, this is my very favorite page. This is it. You're seeing my very favorite page. All right. How interesting is this paper for a journal? I think it's unusual. It's different. And that's what's going to make it fun. Okay, so we've got to make sure it's 8 1/4, and it is 5 1/4 folded. Excuse me, I'm sorry, guys. I got to get through this video, so please excuse me. We don't have far to go. So now we're going to put it in here. And I may decide to switch some things around. I told you that already. Just because of colors and all that. Okay, so we're going to do this one at 8 1/4. Yeah, I say the number and the you know, how I'm going to cut it because so many times I have cut the wrong thing. And I just got tired of it, so I've started a habit of just repeating it. So, I won't find myself wasting a lot of paper. Okay, so that goes there. Now we're back to this one, which has the red window curtains. Let's see. Gotta make sure I've got it up right. Let's see. All right, so we got to cut the width, 5 1/4. Ah, did it again. I'm determined that it's not going to cause me to have to put in another blade. I mean, I use so many blades. I don't know about you guys, but you can go broke buying the blades. I think the blades for this, if you buy them at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, well, Michael's is always $1 more on everything, it seems like. But making sure it's fixed there. Anyway, this is the right, you can get confused on some of these windows. Okay. Now I'm going to move on to this paper again because it is the primary paper for the book. If that's not a surprise to you at this point, huh? Okay. 8 1/4. We're getting pretty close. And 10 1/2. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, now we're going to bring our book over here. Okay. Now we've got this window with the little chirpers in it. The little birds. Listen, I don't know about you guys, but I have fell in love with birds. I trimmed all of my, I trimmed up all the papers that had birds on them. You know, I did that whole, wait a minute, that's not catching the paper. Maybe I'll push it over a little bit. See if that doesn't help. Yeah, that was better. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. I'm sorry. I'll get back to it. Trust me. My brain only holds so much. I'm just kidding. Okay, so we're going to do 8 1/4. Now, this might seem like a lot. Well, it is. It's a lot of pages. So I'm going to see whether I do 2 or 3 signatures in this book. I usually try to go with 10 1/2. I usually try to go with 2 signatures. But I've been thinking that if I'm going to try it this time and try to make it be 3. I think the less papers you put in each signature, the better it lays. That's just what I've been observing. Okay. If I can get my fingers on this. And this one just so happened to have a lot of pages in the kit. So that was good. Here is the bed, the floral bed, flower bed. And then it's actually a bed. That just cracks me up. Just cracks me up. Okay. Let's see where that leaves us. Let's see what happens. See, it's wanting to grab everywhere it goes. So that blade's going to have to be replaced. And that makes me angry because I just replaced it. Well, it was the end of last week. Here it is, just Tuesday. No, maybe it was more like the middle of the week. Okay. My husband's home today. He is going to start working on the electrical for our bathroom. So I'm just trying to straighten this up. It doesn't bother me that it would be a smidgen. Make sure I have this the right direction. That it would be a smidgen short. That doesn't bother me. Because you're not going to be able to tell it. We're going to have to trim some extra ones. Some of them off a little extra anyway. 8 1/4. Okay. Anyway, he's home today. He went to mail some things for me. And then he's going to stop and get the rest of this. He's ordering the decorative portion of the tile in the bathroom. You know how you have a strip of some kind of decorative stuff. I picked it out on Saturday, and so I went back to the doctor today because I was hurting so bad the last few weeks. And you know, really over the last month, I have had so much pain with my hip. And well, it's actually the hip and groin area, and that's where people hurt when they have a need for a hip replacement. And yes, that does not make me happy to even think about that, but I'm gonna go. He's going to send me to get an MRI because my x-rays do show deterioration, but not where you would think you'd have to have a hip replacement. Well, my doctor said, you know, there are other things that can cause the groin to hurt, which is some vascular things. And so he's going to do an MRI to rule out AVN, is what she called it, vascular neurosis, or yeah, or I might have a tear somewhere. They said that they always try to rule out, you know, what is the normal for that pain, and if they don't have the bone on bone thing going on. Now I do on the other side. Then they don't consider that to need any surgery, and just give you an injection and go about your merry way. So they're going to send me for an injection on that side, because last time it was the other side they injected, which I wasn't happy about because I needed it for the left side. I don't know. I get aggravated at doctors in general. But anyway, so I'm going for an MRI Monday, and then my doctor's going to be away on vacation until the 1st of August. But between then and between now and then, I can get my injection, and hopefully it will calm it down. Okay, 8 1/4. No, I'm sorry. We already did 8 1/4. We're doing 10 1/2. See, this is what happens if I don't count. I cut it wrong. I love these windows. I remember making some stuff out of this paper. I've had this paper for a while. It's got some pretty butterflies and birds and just different stuff. It's when your fingernails come in handy for scoring. Making sure everything's scored like it needs to be. Okay. Okay, now see how this is coming out? That's the stuff I'll be trimming to fit, because this is how it would be in your book. It would be like boom, boom, boom. And I'm going to try to see if I can do that with a blade. Okay, so here is this paper. I think we just have one more after this, or maybe two. Okay. Let's see if we can do this without ripping it to pieces. Ah, I was afraid that would happen. It just, let me just eat up your paper. That's what happens with, it doesn't cut copy paper very well. And this is a new trimmer. So, I mean, I should have got out my big fancy Fiskars that I got. I think I got it for Mother's Day or one of those. It's just I have so much stuff going on, I don't know where I'd put it. Okay, so this goes in the next page, as the next page, and then here we go again. Okay, so we're going to do 8 1/4. I usually cut by the small number on my books, if at all possible, so that I can save enough to do pockets and journal, and different journal goodies. Okay, so now get this folded. If you hear the DOG, I do that because she knows her familiar words. If DAD comes in through the kitchen or from the garage, this one will go ballistic. She can hear the slightest noise. She can hear when the garage door opens. Yes. So she goes crazy, but she's in a deep sleep right now, so I'm hoping it stays that way. Because she'll come flying out of there. Okay, so here is the last. No, I think there's one more. This book just grows and grows, doesn't it? Okay. Now, let's see if we can put this on here without it being mutilated. I know I just keep taking a chance. Yeah, you got to figure, you got to be smarter than the cutter. Or the trimmer. Because it's pretty smart. Okay, now put this in where it goes. We're getting pretty chubby over here. Yeah, it'll be fine once we get them separated. Okay, I'm going to see if this one will fit. See if it's the right height. It's just slightly off, but I'm going to use it rather than use the other one. Okay. So this one is, let me see how much off it is on the height. It's 1/4 inch shorter than it needs to be, but a lot of the papers we're putting in, you know, are shorter, a different size. So the heights being different doesn't bother me as much as the width. And really, if you're going to do more than one signature, you don't really have to worry too much about that. Okay, so here we go. We're going to cut this at 10 1/4 by 8 because that's what we got. We're going to fold it over. This is double-sided paper. We have gray on the other side. Let me see here. I'm thinking, yeah, we're going to have 2 yellows close by. So I'm going to flip this over and use the gray side. And use the other one has yellow. I can't remember which one. Yeah. Let's see. I don't want to use that one. Let's use the heavier one. And both of them are a little bit different. Let me see here. Let's put this one in. Just like that. Okay. Now on this one, we're going to cut it the normal way. 8 1/4 by 10 1/2. Okay. All right. Now we've got to cut. I should have cut the other one first because it goes in the book first. But that's all right. As long as I know that. Okay, this is our final one. Gonna fold it in half and hope that we can get through that last little cut. Okay. All right, 5 1/4 if possible. There you go. Works one time and doesn't work the other, right? Okay, so this goes in here. And this goes here. Now, as far as what am I going to put in the center of each signature, I don't know. We will look at these. We'll put them into different signatures. That's what we're going to do right now. If we have time, let me look and see if we have time. We do. We have a little bit. So, just enough time to do that. Okay, let me move this paper out of the way. It's just so confusing to have a bunch of paper on the table when you're trying to figure it out. So let's see how many we've got. If I get my fingers working here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, so we have 20 there. 2, 4, 6. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start out by putting 8 in each one, okay, and see how we do. 2, 4, 6, 8, right there. 2, 4, 6, 8. Let me double check that because it just didn't feel like it. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, signature 1 so far. 2, 4, 6, 8. So we can have 8 in each one is what it amounts to. So these are going to be the fronts of each of those, okay? Now, as far as the center of the book goes, I'm just going to leave it like this. Whatever is there is going to be the center. Now, we can flip it over and do it like that. I don't want one of the pages to be the center because it's not as strong as the cardstock, right? But I'm really not I don't think I'm going to do that because I need it to be that color for the other side. Now on this one, we've got some pretty stuff in the center, so why mess with it, you know? Okay, there we've got that one. That one's okay. And then on this one, let's see, 2, 4. I'm wondering if well, I thought for a minute I had an extra one. I do have one little extra piece of paper. I'll figure that out as we go along. But it's going to be like this. It's going to be inside our book cover like this. And I think it's going to end up being so pretty. I mean, we could put some paper like this on as the front, like one of these, you know. This is really the better one, but it's not quite big enough. And so I just chose to leave it like this. We'll put a beautiful paper on here, maybe a doily or something. I think I have some yellow and pink doilies. Maybe I'll cut that up. We'll put it under this and then put our pictures on here. And I think putting a yellow and pink doily under this would really make these pictures look good. Pop this one up. And yeah, I think we're going to have a really cool, different, exciting book. Now, probably on the front of this book, if I put anything on this book, like a ribbon or something, I don't plan on it, okay? I'm going to stitch this and let that be what is the decorative part of this, if at all possible. Sometimes things happen and change my mind. See, it has some engraved letters here, L and B. And I don't want that on there, so yeah. But this book is in super good condition. So why not use it, right? All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I will show you how our little tags turned out. Let me move this, because this is definitely confusing compared to what they are. And then we're going to get, now I have not put, I did get all the ribbon put on them, okay? And so you saw everything. I put on the Wink of Stella, which is what makes everything shiny, you know. And I did the berries, and none of them got squished because I put them someplace safe overnight. But I am going to add, let me see how much time we got. This is just a finish up on this, because you guys, this is the only thing you've missed. You saw me do the toppers. I just stapled them on. So I've got these little stones, gems, whatever you want to call them. And I'm going to put some of those on here because I think it needs it and I think it'll look good. Now, I have a tool for this, but am I using it? No. And I forget about it. You know, I forget I have it till I start doing it, and I've already gotten involved. But I'm going to grab it. It's right here. I say, oh, it's right here. This is it. This will actually put on crystals. Yeah, it was not cheap. I was crazy. What can I say? It's one of those times when you get in a position, you're like, I'll use that. Yeah, I don't think you will. So I flip this over. Let me move it up. I flip this over to the stomach and put this on the top. It's supposed to pick it right up, but this has sticky on it. So I might not even be able to get it to work. I don't know why it's doing that. It's supposed to stick. Little turkey. Now see, it just stuck here. So I'm going to put a little bit. We'll finish up the baby. Let's see. Let's put one right here. And we'll put our gem down here. It does have sticky on one side, but I will tell you guys, the sticky on one side is not going to cut it long term. Okay, so I always use some kind of glue that will dry clear. So let's put one right here. Kind of balance them out a little bit. And put it right there. I think he needs one more. And I'm sticking to that decision. Right. Let's see. Let's do it right there. And there you go. We'll come back to him. Let's do the bird. We'll come back. If we have enough left, we'll just use them all up. Because I need to buy some of these. Do you know how long it's been since I've bought them? Forever. Put one there and one here for sure. Should have left it alone. It was gonna work. Okay, we'll get one more off of here. And remember, the glue will dry clear, but if you want to get it off, you can use this little pointed thing. Just be sure when you're done to wipe the little pointed thing off. So we'll do one more. I think we'll do one right down here on his little bitey. Come on. There we go. And if we have more, I'll add more to him, but we got to get all these others done first. So I'm going to put one right here, right here. Let's put one right there. It's hard when you're trying, when some things don't balance like you want it to. I'm going to put one right in. Well, I think I'm going to put one down here because it needs to look more balanced. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy the next book. I think I try to come up with books that are different. I know there's other people that have this paper. I don't know if they've done anything with it yet or not. But I know that I like it, so I couldn't wait to use it after I saw it. We're going to put several on this guy, see what happens. Then we can work our way back to who needs it the worst. Whoops. And again, these need to dry, so don't be handling it until it all dries. And honestly, I think there's other ways to do these as well. We could have put white glitter, but I thought it needed a little something besides all white. And that's why I ended up doing the silver glitter to add color, but to not be, you know, to be as subtle as you could. That was my goal. And there's one right there. I mean, you wouldn't have to put any of this on there, but I got this thing. I like to decorate them. I want it to look like a scene of some sort. See, I like the way his is balanced out. Let's put one more on Mama right here. We have one more left. So, at least in this color, and I've got to get to the store. I probably have a bunch right under my nose, and I just don't remember where they are. Okay, and let's see who is the most desperate over here. I think it's the little bird, only has 3. So, let's do one right here for him. And let me get this over here. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed the video today showing you what we're going to be doing in our next series of book. And I don't plan on, you know, dragging it out. So keep your fingers crossed that I'm able to just continue with it without any issues. And at first I was going to cover the whole book with that fabric, the floral fabric, but it ended up being too much. I laid it out and it was just too much. And it's one of those things that needs to come in small amounts. You know, because it just looked, to me, it just looked kind of gaudy being that much. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I need you guys to share and get the word out about my channel. You know, because it's just so slow with subscribers right now. And I know we have something to offer them. So, if you could share certain things that you like, that would be great. Tell your friends, whatever. So, I will see you guys in the next video. If you haven't subscribed, do. If you are brand new, I am so glad you're with us. Thank you for joining. All right, guys, I appreciate you. I'll talk to you soon.